Hey guys, today we're talking about the digestive system, which is the system in our body that allows us to get nutrients from the foods that we eat. So, I've started off by drawing a man, clearly I'm an artist, and an apple, which he's going to eat. So, the first part of our digestive system is the mouth, where food, obviously, is put into. This is kind of the gateway to the digestive system. So this is our first stop. Our teeth break down the food, and saliva in our mouth contains enzymes. Let me spell that for you. Enzymes that start breaking down food as soon as it's put into my person's mouth. So he takes a bite of the apple, the teeth in his mouth will chew up that apple, and the saliva will use these enzymes to break down that food. And the whole point of our digestive system, guys, the biggest part that I want all of you guys to remember is that the digestive system is used to break down food into usable energy. Now, the mouth started breaking down that food, and then it travels down our esophagus. This is the part of the throat, so when we swallow our food, we are actually, let's respell that, esophagus. When we swallow our food, it's actually going down not only our throat, but our esophagus. And this is kind of like your food highway into the stomach. So no digestion happens in the esophagus. Instead, it's just a path from one part of our digestive system to the other, where the food will get broken down another time. So we've arrived at the stomach. That's the third part of our digestive system. And in our stomach, there's these gastric juices. So we've got some little juices in here. We've got gastric juices, which break down those food bites, so whatever you're able to swallow, it breaks it down even more into this liquid mush. So these gastric juices is a mixture of acid and enzymes. So it's the same thing as what's up here in your mouth. Acid and enzymes break down that food even more. And that liquid mush that it becomes is called chyme. That's an M, not a W. All right, chyme. So now it's not even food anymore, it's chyme. And this chyme is what we see when we throw up. Maybe we eat something that just doesn't sit right in our stomach. So we throw it up, it goes back up the highway, the esophagus, and out the mouth. And what we see is chyme. It's no longer food. That's why we think it's gross, because we don't register that as being food. Now, if we've eaten something that we do like and we can digest, it will move down into the small intestine. And let's see how good of an artist I can be here for you guys. Whee! All right, your small intestine. That's number 4 on our list. Okay. So the first part of the small intestine, this little first part right here, is called the duodenum. I'll spell that for you, duodenum, where bile, which is made in the liver, which is up here. Oh, that marker's not really working. Let's do that. All right, this is your liver. Bile is made in the liver, and it is stored in the gallbladder, and enzymes from the pancreas, this is our pancreas, are used to break down the food again. So this is the third time it's been broken down. You break it down once up here in your mouth, you break it down again here in your stomach. My camera's falling again. Okay, so we make bile in the liver. It's stored in the gallbladder. We have enzymes in the pancreas. These two things both come down here and break down the food a third time. All right? And this time when it's being broken down, the small intestine is able to take these proteins, the fats, and the carbohydrates that are actually in our food. You know, when you read the label on your whatever you're eating, probably not a label on an apple, but when you read a label on the food that you're eating, it can tell you how many proteins there are, how much fat there is, how much carbohydrates there are in your food. And this is where we actually get those things into our bodies. It doesn't get taken into our bodies immediately when we eat it. It's taken into our bodies down here in the small intestine. So this is where we get proteins, fats, and carbohydrates into our body. So our body is able to absorb those vitamins and minerals at this point in the digestive system. Those cars are loud. Cool. So at this point in our digestive system, we're able to absorb these vitamins and minerals into our body. So everything before this, the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, everything before this was just working to break down the food into the smallest possible form to the point where we are now able to absorb the things that are actually good for us and that our body can use. Now, it moves through the small intestine, absorbing those things. And then goes into the large intestine. Woohoo! All right, so this is our large intestine. This is number 5 on your list. And the large intestine absorbs water and salt from the food. And those are the last two things that we're able to absorb from our food. Anything else that's left behind at the end of the digestive process is considered waste, so your body doesn't need it. And that all ends up in our toilets in the form of poop and pee. So that's stuff that we've eaten, we've ingested, that our body has decided, I don't need that, that's not important to me, so it gets rid of it. And that's how we get rid of it. So that's the end of our digestive system. So to recap, we start at the mouth, which is the gateway to the digestive system. Our saliva has enzymes in it which help to break down the food for the first time. The esophagus is kind of like the highway of the digestive system. It transports food from the mouth to the stomach. The stomach has gastric juices inside of it, which are a combination of acid and enzymes, which help to break down our food into what we call chyme. that chyme goes into the small intestine where proteins and fats and carbohydrates, those vitamins and minerals, are actually absorbed into our system, and the large intestine is able to absorb water and salt and then decides what is considered waste and will get rid of said waste. So that's your digestive system. I want you guys, before you come to class, to think about each of these processes of the digestive system and write about the purpose of each of these 5 things in your own words. I don't want to hear my words just repeated back to me. I want to hear your words. Give me a definition of each of these 5 things, and we'll talk about them more in class. All right, see you guys then.